my name is Bernard Sheridan from Par Breakers Golf Academy, located in Limerick, Pennsylvania. I'd like to welcome you all back, and we'd like to congratulate Bill Haas on his win at the AT&T at Congressional. And we're going to take a look at Bill's swing today and see some of the things that he's doing that can help your swing, and some of the things that are really happening really nice in Bill's swing at address and at the top and during the takeaway and at the finish. So first thing we're going to look at here is swing plane, and I'm going to draw a line right on his shaft going down the line here, and we're going to see how that red line transfers right through his belt and just out his lower back. So a lot of that is due to really good posture. Bill is reaching ever so slightly with his hands, just a little bit, but he's in a great position, athletic setup, ready to move in any direction. If we take a look at the face on, we'll see that the shaft is leaning slightly ahead, not tremendously, but slightly ahead, and that shaft is right in line with his left arm. Okay, so as he starts to take away here, we're going to start to take the club away. I want you to notice how that club very much stays out in front of him. Okay, his hands do lift off that swing plane line. So what does that mean? Well, that means that Bill is a classic two-plane swinger, and most guys who are the size of Bill have a tendency to be two-planers, just for the fact that they're so tall that they start to this club away on a separate plane. Okay, what I want you to also notice here is that on this takeaway, how much width he's building already with his hands. So, and this is classic of a two-plane swinger. His hands are actually starting the ball away, or starting the club head away from the ball. And essentially, though, here's the thing that Bill does very, very well, and I want you to pay attention to this, because most players who have a tendency, or most amateurs who have a tendency to get their arms away from, use their hands to build width in the takeaway, they really aren't creating this position here, which is very much still staying in front of their core. Usually what will happen is their hands will get well behind their core, and Bill does this very well. So as he starts to work the club up, he starts to hinge. He has a slight hinge. That shaft, again, as we're noticing right here, is very, very much out in front of him, which in other words, the club head is way out ahead of his hands here, and not even with his hands yet. Okay, because his hands are just about right here, they're at waist high. So that club head is still well out in front of him. So, and that means his hands are still in front of him, and that his hands are moving back on a straight line, even though he's getting the club vertical. Okay, as he starts up to the top, here's where he has his hands really nice and high, and then he just lets that lag just kind of drop back to get the club a little bit past parallel. Okay, he's still maintaining his position, but what I want you to notice here is that he has a tremendous amount of weight moving towards the target on the downswing. Here's where it really starts. I mean, he's already loaded up as he gets, because here's the top. Here's where he starts to load up as his hands are just starting to drop and let that hinge create that just past parallel. He's already starting down. Okay, this is a great position, and then his hands begin to drop. Now, here's the classic of a two-plane swinger when everything is working great, is right as their hands get to be waist high, that shaft really creates some lag, and it comes right back onto the original swing plane. This is what has to happen for all you two-plane swingers. And we can see here how Bill is really creating lag. That club head is really behind him. That shaft is almost perfectly parallel with its original plane. And as he comes down into impact, he's just a little bit above that original plane. Probably, I want to say, about 2 to 3 degrees higher. We can see tremendous shaft lean here at impact. This is incredible. Okay, this is where power happens, folks, and this is where, you know, we hear all about players hitting up on the ball. Bill's ball speed is about 171 miles an hour coming off the club face. That's due to that forward shaft lean. His hands are well up front of that ball when he strikes it. You have to have a lot of club head speed to make this happen. So I don't really advise amateurs with a club head speed below 115 miles an hour to try to create this position at impact with a driver. I would like to see your hands a little bit ahead of the ball, but not this much. This really is hitting down on the ball, probably about 1 to 2 degrees. The tour average is 1.6 as measured by TrackMan and Flight Scope. But the other thing that I want you to notice here is that he has a tremendous amount of hip rotation at impact, and now this is where he really just lets everything go and lets the release happen, and the shaft just goes right on plane. This is great. And notice too, if we take a look here, we're just going to move that this front position, he is really, again, tremendously centered in front of his core. This, again, we've always talked about here at Par Breakers that 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock position, those arms, that Y wants to be maintained to really create accuracy and power. As he comes through, again, he is right on plane. Fantastic position. Maintaining his posture. And then a nice full finish as he rotates around and gets that shoulder to the target again. Shaft plane finishes right on the plane that it came out on. Here, as he was at impact, just past impact, as that front view, he really has gotten around. So again, here's the one last thing that I want you to really notice here, and this is a great position that I like to see everybody be in at the finish, and that is his head, his skull is right over that heel of his left foot. He's actually moved a little bit ahead of it. This is an absolute full release to the target. So, as we take a look at Bill's swing and understand some of the great things that he's doing, if you can get some of these things to happen, the main key, again, always, as we always have stressed, is between 8 and 4 o'clock, keeping those hands in front of you, maintaining that Y. If you're a classic two-plane swinger, making sure that those hands drop and that thing gets in the slot, and you have proper weight shift to get out over that front leg to a full finish. So for Par Breakers Golf Academy here in Limerick, Pennsylvania, I'm Bernard Sheridan. Once again, thanks as always for being with us, and we'd love to have your comments posted below. And if there are any videos that you would like to see or any swings that you would like to see torn down, please let us know, and we'll be happy to do our best to accommodate. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.